class today. I want you to take some time, find your comfortable seated position. There's a lot that might be on your mind right now. I want you to take those thoughts and release them for the next few minutes. I want you to keep your mind focused in this area, in this spot. Your mind, your body. Taking the next few moments to just add some movement through your neck. Starting rolling through the center, maybe taking it into a full rotation. Let's bring our head back to center. Place one hand beside you, reach that opposite arm over, tuck your elbow into your body to deepen that stretch. I want you to double check, make sure both hips stay on the floor here. Lifting it back up. Let's go ahead and switch sides. Let's lift it back up. Opening up one leg, keeping one leg tucked into our body. Let's go ahead and start by walking our hands forward. Taking those hands back in towards your body, tucking this extended leg behind you, rotating those hips towards that front leg and hinging. Reaching forward, you can take this a step further by extending that leg behind you. Let's go ahead and press ourselves back up. Tuck that knee back in if it is not already. Extending that leg and switching into our body. We're going to again start by reaching out in front of us. Bringing those hands back in towards your body. Bringing this, wait, what did I do last time? Tucking this leg. I got all twisted there. Now rotating your hips towards that front leg and hinging at the hips. I got twisted up like a pretzel. Again, you have the option to extend that back leg. Let's go ahead and press ourselves back up, bringing both legs into our butterfly position, opening up the insides of our thighs, wrapping our hands around our feet, starting with that open chest, pressing our knees towards the floor. And let's go ahead and take those feet forward out a few inches into more of a diamond. And this time we're going to bring our nose towards our knee, still pressing those knees down towards the floor. Slowly lifting it back up. Let's go ahead and shift onto all fours. Wrists in line with your shoulders, knees in line with your hips. Let's go ahead and go into a few cat-cows. Inhale as you lift and open. Exhale as you tuck and round through the spine. Continuing with your own breath. On your next exhale as you peek through your legs, I want you to double check, make sure those toes are not coming in and the front of your feet are flat to the floor. Let's go ahead and relax into neutral spine. We're going to go into those shoulder push-ups, sinking and pushing away from the floor here. Elbows, pelvis, or hips are not doing the movement. Go ahead and bring everything back to neutral before sitting back into child's pose. Feel free to roll out those wrists. They've had a little bit of pressure. Let's get ready for our flow, starting with our tabletops. Tucking those toes under. Let's go ahead and lift knees up, hips back into that downward dog. If you need to pedal out through those feet, feel free to do so. Remember, we're avoiding eyes down to the floor to keep our neck in neutral. Once you finish pedaling through those feet, let's go ahead and raise that right leg for our three-legged dog. Hips stay square to the floor to start. And taking our toe, pointing it to the opposite wall, allowing our hips to stack this time. Extending back into that three-legged dog, bringing those hips back towards the floor before swinging your foot up to your hands into your runner's lunge. From here, go ahead and allow that heel to release behind you so that we can swing our leg. I am just twisted all over the place today. Swing our arms up to our ears into warrior one. As we open to warrior two, I need you to make sure your heel rotates with your knee and hip over for warrior two. Let's lift into reverse warrior. Arm can reach, right arm can reach up or slightly back. I want there to be little to no weight on that back arm against your leg, especially on your knee. Inhale, lift back into warrior two. Extending that front leg and dropping into triangle. Right hand can either place on a yoga block or on the floor. Left arm reaches up to the ceiling. Let's tuck our knee back into our shoulders, shifting our weight forward, modifying that position with your elbow on your knee if you need to. As we place our left hand on the floor, we're going to lift and rotate our heel behind us into our runner's lunge. All right, here's our tricky part. We're going to kick that right leg all the way back into our three-legged dog before stepping both feet down, downward dog. Let's go ahead and shift our weight forward, gently releasing your knees. Let's give those wrists and shoulders a little bit of a break here. Roll out those your wrists. You know those days where you just can't talk? Apparently, I'm having one of them. Luckily, you all know what I'm saying. All right, let's start with that tabletops position. Tuck those toes under. Let's go into that sequence on the other side, starting with our downward dog. Raising that left foot for our three-legged dog when you're ready. Extending that foot to the opposite wall, stacking your hips. Let's go ahead and extend that leg one more time before swinging that leg up through to our hands for our runner's lunge. Let's go ahead and allow our heel to release behind us, swooping our arms up to our ears for our warrior one. I want you to try to press those hips forward as best as you can here. Your headlights. Making sure you lift and rotate that heel to follow your hips and knee for warrior two. Inhale as we raise that left arm up or slightly behind us for reverse warrior. Hand is gently placed on your leg, so no weight is pressing or holding yourself up. Inhale, lift it back up. Exhale into your triangle. Again, modified version would be hands placed either on your leg or maybe on a yoga block, something in place of a yoga block. Go ahead and take that knee, shift it forward into your shoulder. Modified version will be elbow to knee. As we place that hand on the floor, we're going to lift and rotate our heel behind us. Big step back, three-legged dog. Both feet on the floor. Downward dog. Shifting your weight forward, gently releasing your knees. Let's sit back into child's pose. All right, we're going to work on our camel for a little bit today. So let's go ahead and press up to our knees. If you want to place a blanket or some pillows below your knees for support, it's completely fine. I want you to take a peek. Make sure those knees are in line with your hips, but your bone structure. So I know us ladies, sometimes our hips are a little bit wider, not just ladies, in general. So I'm speaking about your bone structure here. Placing your hands behind your lower back, fingertips facing down. I want you to start by just opening your chest and lifting your chin. If you feel like your back can support you and let your hips push forward, go ahead and open up a little bit further. Maybe even reaching for one ankle at a time. Using your hands on your lower back to support yourself as you lift yourself back up. Let's go ahead and sit back in a child's pose. Walk those hands side to side. You are going to have one more opportunity to try it. Let's give that back little bit of relief here. When you are ready, let's bring those hands down for support, using them to press ourselves up. Bringing those hands, fingertips facing down on that lower back, and opening your chest. Chin lifts. Maybe letting those hips push forward, opening that chin a little bit further, maybe even reaching back for those ankles. One hand at a time, use them to support your back as you lift it back up. Sit back on those heels for child's pose one more time. Feel free to walk your hands side to side, maybe rock your hips side to side. We did a little bit of back extension with that one. We're going to do some back flexion here. So we're going to shift over to our bottoms, feet forward to do some seated forward folds. If you have a yoga strap or something you can use in place of a yoga strap, go ahead and get that handy. Bringing those arms overhead and hinging here for that flexion. Again, you're welcome to use your yoga strap. A belt would also work. Just like earlier, we want to avoid looking up at your feet or up at me. We don't want to put strain on our neck. Slowly roll yourself up. We have one more time to do that. This time I want you to try to challenge yourself just this much more. Inhale, lift. Exhale, let's see if we can go a little bit deeper into this stretch this time. Knees can stay soft, slightly bent. Slowly raising yourself up. And let's go ahead and scoot down to our mats. Nice and slow and controlled. Head is always last to come down. Tucking our knees into our tight ball, rolling our lower back onto our mat. Making sure you go in both directions. Let's finish with a few bridges. So feet flat on the floor, about hip length apart. Knees are in line with those feet. And I want you to squeeze your glutes. Notice how those hips start to roll or tuck under, allowing that lower back to release, lifting that mid back, and eventually all the way up, squeezing in that glute position before reversing that release down to the floor. I want you to try to tuck those hips under, release that lower, mid, lower, and then hip down to the floor. Let's try that control a little bit quicker this time. Take note of your feet. Make sure both feet are being used equally. So you can tell if you're favoring one side by looking at the feet or feeling the feet. Let's do one more. Going back into that roll, knees tucked into your chest. Going in both directions. All right, keeping one knee tucked in, extending the other heel out in front of us. Option to extend that leg. Allowing that leg to open out to the side. Remember, both hips stay pressed to the floor here. Bringing our leg back to center and tucking that knee into our chest. Let's go ahead and switch sides. Same thing, starting with the knee tucked in, extending the other leg out in front of us. Option to extend that leg. Even if we do this stretch all the time, doesn't mean you can't take note of how your body's feeling. Some days you might notice it's a little bit harder than other days. That's how you can start to tell. Maybe you're dehydrated, maybe you had a hard workout. Keep a mental diary. Allowing your leg to open out to the side. Bringing your leg back to center. Tucking your knee back into your chest and placing your foot on the floor. Go ahead and slide those feet out in front of you. Shake it out. I'm going to have us do some shoulder work before we go into our ending meditation. So let's bring those hands over our shoulders, hands facing each other. If you want more support for your back, you can bring your feet flat to the floor as well. From here, I want you to peel those shoulder blades off the floor and tuck them into your mat. Go ahead and repeat that a few times. See if you can peel those shoulder blades off the floor. Reverse, tuck them into your mat. Continue that movement. So it's almost like that same shoulder push-up we have, just in a different position. Go ahead and relax those shoulders. Bring one arm across your chest, hug it in close with the opposite arm. Again, if you feel more comfortable with your feet flat to the floor, that's completely fine. Gently releasing that hold as you reverse snow angel. Arm comes up to your ear, down to your side. See if you can slide that hand on the floor. And let's switch sides, crossing your arm and hugging it in with your opposite arm. Gently releasing that hold as you bring that arm up to your ear. Reverse snow angel down to your side and keeping both arms there. Go ahead and relax your eyes if they are not already. Pull those shoulders down and away from your ears. Release the tension in your jaw. Bring your mind and your focus to this moment in your body. Let's start to exaggerate our breaths. Adding small movements through our fingers and our toes. Making a snow angel, arms up to your ears. Bringing those feet flat to the floor if they're not already. Rolling over to one side, using your arm as your pillow. And taking a few moments to open your eyes. Slowly go ahead and press yourself back into your seated position. Finishing with your deep breaths, arms reach overhead. Exhale, arms to your sides. 2 more deep breaths in. And exhale. 1 more time, bringing our hands to prayer. Exhale, hands to heart. Namaste. Have a wonderful rest of your Wednesday, everyone. And I will see you all next Wednesday. We will not have class on Monday, just a reminder. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to reach out. You're welcome to watch a recording on Monday.